conversation. Stream live as well on www.spicefm.co.ke. Do remember, this is the home of sugar, spice, and everything nice. Now, previously I asked you about some of the emotional pieces that you've written on your blog. So far, you're on 90 poems. Your target is 500. Brilliant.
Thank you.
And I know, obviously, okay. I think you had like a brain freeze.
Yes,
I did. Which happens a lot.
Embarrassingly.
No, it's fine. It's cool, bro.
Yes.
Like over here, it's very chill.
Okay.
So, do you wanna say the poem again? Do you wanna drop the piece?
Sure.
Let's go.
So, like I said, it's in form of a prayer.
Okay.
So it'll give prayer vibes. Okay. Dear Lord, I'm grateful. I thank you. Thank you for a mind creature that lives inside my body and mimics the breathing of the Holy Spirit. Lord, I'm grateful for talent. But Lord, what is talent without hard work? Irregardless, I pray for softness when I land these punchlines. I pray that I don't bleed anyone in my audience. Let these poems instead gently touch people of all ages, especially the children. But dear Lord, do not let this become pedophilia, but a poem that will heal you. Lord, I thank you for a mouth that has a tongue tool to solemnly tell the truth and nothing else but the truth, so help me God. Dear Lord, I pray for a voice that has a tone and a token to reconcile our country back together. Dear Lord, I pray for this country and its children. I pray for the president of our nuclear family that has been separated by explosions of emotions. Lord, I pray... I froze again.
It's okay.
I froze again.
I relate with your
energy. But that's the poem. It's very emotional.
Yeah, man.
It's in form of a prayer.
Exactly.
And it's a new poem. That's why I kind of froze.
So you're actually freestyling?
It's actually, I wrote it a couple... No, it's not... it's
okay.
Written.
Okay.
I was trying... It's a very fresh poem. It's still in the works. Yes.
By the way, bro, somebody once said that a real poet, the great ones that have ever been, didn't have to write. You know, they only needed an audience. Sometimes not even an audience. Like they're going to put their hearts on their sleeve and just say it as it is. You know, it's interesting. Before you respond to my question or that statement.
Yes.
When I was speaking with Yvonne Adhiambo, you know, she mentioned something very profound, and she was talking about how she asked the late Binyavanga about this whole idea of being authentic. Because sometimes when you write certain stories, they can lead you to dark places. You know? And then it's interesting because Binyavanga responded to her and said, you need to just get the hell out of the way of the story and let it go on. I guess now my question is, bouncing off this statement, this quote about the great poets, you know, and how they really didn't have to write. They just put it out there as it is. You know, it's almost as if they were guided by some sort of, I don't know, some weird inspiration out there, some spirits. You know, and they just kept on going and on, going on and on and on. When I listen to you, you come off as a kind of person that can, you know, I get the feeling that you can also freestyle. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? That's a layered statement.
Yes.
Almost like a question as well. Now, the one for the great poets and Binyavanga saying, you know, you need to get the hell out of the way of a story. What are your thoughts about all those
First of all, I'm impressed that I give off freestyling vibes, because I really don't freestyle. I tend to write most of my poems, and then I try and master them so that I take them to the stage. So I think with the whole inspiration thing, I think in ancient like African communities, you know, we were very in touch with our ancestors and our nature and the nature. But when the British came, and these British expeditions, they came and they destroyed our sacred our sacredness. You know, they sort of like took it away from us. So there's a lot of inspiration when, like, as a writer, you know, traditionally as an African, you know, you have that through your ancestors. You know, you can channel and you can write through inspiration. But mostly I tend to write I tend to write my poems. I don't freestyle. They don't come to me in the moment. I like to just sit down, think about what I want to write, and then write about it. And then take some time to read the poem. Sometimes I'll even edit the poem because I'm not a very perfect writer. I'm still in the works. So I'll edit the poem and then I'll read it again. And then I might share it with a friend or my sister. Just listen to this poem. Tell me how it feels like. How does it make you feel? Does it connect with you? How do you think I should say that? So I'm very open, even with trying to bring other people into my writing process. Yes.
And what about words that take you to dark places? Just like Binyavanga said, you need to get the hell out of the way of a good story.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you cautious about some of your words? Like, you don't want to offend certain people. You don't want to talk about taboos, for example. Yeah. I think the only people I'm not afraid to offend are white people. Amazing.
Because like I said, my work is mostly about African colonialism and what the British, about the effects of the British Empire in colonial Africa. So I am very vocal, and I don't fear sounding contradictive, or not contradictive, or rather I don't fear confronting subject matters that are uncomfortable to talk about. There's a poem I wrote about the British Museum, about stolen artifacts, and I performed it at the third preliminary of the Grand Slam. So, and then I recall during that performance there was some white guys in the audience, and when I was doing the poem, they kind of left.
What? Are you serious?
It caught me by surprise. I was like, I think I hit something on the nail. So I'm not ashamed of offending people. Yes.
Do you think there is such a thing as an African creative, and then so basically like creatives from different regions of the world?
Yes.
Do you think they differ based on their experiences? A creative is just pretty much a creative. There's no reason to classify them. The reason I'm asking you is when you look at writers and storytellers and artists, basically, especially Kenyans.
Yes.
I feel like some of them are probably limited due to our colonial past. Maybe we have certain traumas that we are still dealing with, and maybe they don't really help in the sense of fully expressing ourselves.
Yes.
Because I've heard some people talk about how they still kind of feel like they have a fear of authority. Maybe that's because of whatever happened in our colonial past. The whole generational curse thing. You know what I mean? Like somehow you just, you're kind of timid, even as an artist, as an African creative.
Yeah.
And also, what's the other one? I guess some people they really seek validation.
Okay.
Like your work basically just like you don't feel like your work is good enough without some sort of validation.
Okay. So I think to answer your question, I consider myself as an African poet. I try and stick to that lane because, again, I cannot run away from it. From the color of my skin, I am African to the core. And so I'll always claim that in my work. I'll not try and run away from it and also I consider myself a global citizen. As much as I'm a Kenyan citizen, I'm a global citizen, and I share the same empathy I have for what is happening in Sudan and Nigeria and the DRC is the same empathy I have for what is happening in Palestine and Ukraine and Nepal. So I'm connected to them as I'm connected to the world. I don't live with myself. I'm not an island, but I identify as an African poet. My works mostly speak about African issues, and even the types of subject matters that I choose to write about are very particular about my experience as a young Kenyan and as an African. So I don't run away from it. I don't feel ashamed from it. I don't feel like I need some type of validation from anybody, from any type of community or anyone. I just fully express myself authentically as who I am.
Amazing. I like it. Moving forward, do you write to heal? Based on your own life story? Do you write to remember, maybe? Or to provoke certain conversations, you know, the psyche of the nation, maybe when they engage with your work? What are some of the reasons for your writing?
Yeah, I actually, all of them, all of which you mentioned, I write to heal. Actually, I forgot to mention, Gen Z or MauMau came about, that idea came about to me during last year's protests. And I vividly recall I was at home with my grandparents. My grandfather is 95 years old. My grandmother is 90. So we were sitting with them. Unfortunately, I didn't go for the protest. So I was at home in my upcountry. And we were watching the protests from home. And I recall seeing in Parliament, in Bunge, when they had those dead bodies there. And it got to me, like I cried. I literally broke down. You know, it got to me, and I actually saw it also with my grandparents. Like they could feel the energy in the room. You know, something was amiss. You know, they could feel the somberness. So I feel we are all in a healing journey, even as a country, as a collective. We are healing from, you know, and not just what is happening presently, from colonial times. Sometimes I think about what my grandfather went through.
Exactly. I can imagine.
Probably even from his parents, and what they passed down to him, and what he passed down to my mom, you know. And so I think we're all on a healing trajectory, and that's how Gen Z MauMau came for me. Actually, Gen Z MauMau for me, predominantly it's a healing project. It's a project of self-discovery. That's why I deemed it poems about identity. It's about finding myself, like who am I? You know, in this whole hula baloo.
It's interesting how you put it. So when you look at the state of the country and the trajectory we're headed towards, what really upsets you the most right now?
I think there's a lot of work to be done in terms of educating the masses about the rule of law and the Constitution and what it actually means to be a democracy. I feel we're still most Kenyans are still in that phase in where we put our trust a lot in the government and in these leaders. And I'm not saying like governments are not important, but I feel sometimes I think about COVID-19. Like I said, COVID-19 was a very interesting time if you think about it, because I feel like it exposed the governments to show that governments they're not actually really in control than how they portray to actually to be. And I think COVID-19 really showed that in a huge magnitude. If you think about even how people used to come together to help each other, governments didn't have a clue what to do during the pandemic. And so I think as Kenyans we have to come to this realization that this type of glorifying that we give our politicians, that they have to dictate who we vote for or why we vote or how we even think.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the things that we need to work on. So mass education, like, you know, I think the Constitution should be learned in school, properly learned in school. The Constitution is not just a document for parliamentarians or like for the MPs. It's a collective document, and everybody should have the right to know what it says and what it means.
Yeah.
Especially if we want to make better choices in the future in terms of the leaders that we elect, I think that is it's a good place to start.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Civic engagements and education is so important, especially for the younger Kenyans. Do you think people are too dependent on the system? Whatever the system is. Do you think maybe that's not the way it's supposed to be? Because, you know, you just mentioned how government really learned a lot about, the sense of control during the COVID-19. But right now, do you think we're too dependent post-COVID?
Post-COVID?
Yeah, we're too dependent on the system. The reason I'm asking is every other time, you get into certain quarters, people somehow blame the government for, the state of the communities and the economy in general.
Yes.
Like Gava is supposed to provide such and such, all these other things, right? And then there's a sense of anger, like, especially if government doesn't live up to its promises.
Yes.
And so do you think it's a good thing to be overly dependent on the system? Is there such a thing as that?
It's not good. It's not good. It's always good to have a sense of, while doing my research, I was doing research about anarchism and what it is about as a theory. So, and I'm going to be very careful about this because I don't want to offend people, but I think anarchism, it's studied in theory. It's not what people, or rather what governments try to push it out to be. We practice every day. We practice anarchism every day. Think about it. When you go to bus station or whatever stage you're going to alight your matatu, you don't need a police officer to stand with you there to organize you. People are naturally organized. People are naturally orderly, And even in the protests, people are naturally nonviolent. They'll organize, but now governments are the ones who come to disrupt the peace, if you think about it. So I think, yes, to answer your question, we overly depend on governments and the systems, and it's high time to rethink so that we have a balance. Not saying the government should disappear, I'm just saying it's good to have a balance, to know when to not over depend on the government, when to be self dependent.
Brilliant. Yes. I like that.
Yes.
All right, so let's keep it moving. Still on the whole political angle of this conversation.
Yes.
Do you generally feel like the Gen Z understand political power? Yeah, because, there's this talk for, leadership needs to be youthful.
Yes.
The youth the future, it used to be the future belongs to the youth.
Yes.
It's now they say it's the current. This is the era for the youth.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think they're ready for leadership and power and political power?
It doesn't matter. I think it's going to happen regardless of whether we believe it or not. Because first of all, the law of the land says sovereign power belongs to the people. All power belongs to the people. So whether we believe in it or not, whether we like it or not, the law states that. And I think we're always going to be on the forefront.
Yeah.
We're always going to be on the forefront. And now I think with the social media era, it's so hard for you to get away with things.
Yeah.
It's hard to get, if you abduct somebody, tutajua tu.
Right.
If you do something, we will know.
Yeah.
And information spreads so fast nowadays. You can't do anything underwater. People will know, and people will rise.
Yeah, we also just witnessed the death of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yes.
As a poet, as a thinker, and as a young Kenyan.
Yes.
What did his life mean to you? When you look back, because they talk about him being one of the most important Kenyans of all times.
Yes.
His impact will definitely be felt for generations to come.
Yeah. I think he's a legend in his own right. There's a poem I wrote called Ragwambo. So it plays around with Rambo, the character, the Sylvester Stallone, who's like a soldier who goes to war with like this army of like people, and he's alone. So he symbolizes this like savior of people. Many people regard to him as like a savior, and even after his passing, people still give him that type of reverence. And I think it's good to honor him for the roles that he's played for this country in terms of fighting for what is right, always being there on the forefront to do what is right. Yeah. So yes, I think he's a legend in his own right, and he deserves all the flowers.
Raila kept on talking about canon, taking Kenyans, especially his followers, to this amazing place called Canaan, this idea of paradise.
Yes.
Do you think Kenyans are ever going to get to this place, this idealistic place called Canaan, I guess? Do you think we're ever going to get there?
It depends. It depends if we want to get there. Our actions are going to determine if we're going to get there or not.
Yeah.
So there's a chance we might.
Yeah.
There's a very high chance we might or might not.
Yeah.
Yes. It all depends on us.
What's the narrative?
We might just end up like, unfortunately, like our neighbor, Tanzania.
Oh, God forbid.
So it depends. The power is in our hands to determine what type of trajectory we want to have as a country.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're living in a time when, of course, we're witnessing a lot of youth-led movements in Africa. We saw whatever happened in West Africa.
Yes.
We're seeing this whole wave happening in East Africa.
Yes.
What do you think Gen Z are doing right? Yeah.
As with the movements that are happening across.
Yeah. So especially the ones in East Africa.
Yes.
What are they getting right?
Calling people in power into account. Calling them into account. Not letting them get away with corruption. Such issues are the ones that defines the trajectory of a country. Corruption.
Yeah.
And cycles of debt. And debt is not bad, by the way. I'm not saying debt is bad, because the economy of the world thrives on debt. But if debt falls in the hands of the wrong people, then you're in an ending cycle of spending and borrowing. And then I think we, as a generation, we are very aware of we're not scared. We're not scared to speak against bad leadership. We can identify bad leadership and we can call it out.
Yeah.
So I think yes.
What are they getting wrong?
What are they getting wrong?
Yeah.
Maybe patience.
That's so true, bro.
Maybe patience.
Yeah, maybe they're between patience.
Yeah. Maybe we probably think things can happen tomorrow. Maybe it will take a little bit longer than we want them to. But I think we're on the right trajectory. And not just in government. I think even in the workspace, employers kind of have a hard time employing Gen Zs.
Apparently,
they say that Gen Zs are entitled.
They soft quit work.
Yeah. But I think
they give up so soon.
Yeah. But I think we are also kind of improving that conversation in the workspace. What is really what is work really? Do you need to work from 8 to 5 for that to be deemed as work? We also have to define what is work versus productivity.
I agree. And
I think COVID-19 also defined that for us as well, because people didn't need to go to their offices to be productive.
Same way I think people shouldn't have to work for 5 days a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who says that? You know what I mean? Like, most people actually, most people aren't productive on Fridays, for example. So maybe we shouldn't be going to work on Fridays. Yeah, that's the situation in some countries out here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on a guy called Casmuel, by the way?
Casmuel, he has a good afro.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. His afro is amazing. His afro is dope.
I mean, I think he's with ODM right now.
Yeah, he's in Mombasa right now. And, he obviously he's a Gen Z.
Yeah, yes.
Some Kenyans think he's a sellout. They think, this guy, he's just, he had a price on his head. He wasn't really principled. He didn't really stand for what, he made Kenyans think he stood for.
I can't speak for anyone, really. I don't want to speak for him. I don't know what his motives are. I don't know what he stands for.
Yeah.
Yes.
For real, you don't know?
I don't know what he stands for. I really don't know what
he stands for. The whole Gen Z movement. Anyway, it is.
You could say something and not.
Yeah.
Yes. I just don't want to speak about what something that I don't want to speak for somebody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was just a by the way.
Yes.
Hey, so as we wrap up this conversation, what are some of the hardest things about being a writer or a poet? What are the challenges that you go through in Kenya?
I think avenues of storytelling. I think we need more avenues of storytelling. And I think, storytelling has evolved over the times. Now we have better ways of telling stories as humans. We read literature. We do research, we do interviews with older generations. We conduct research. We dig for artifacts. And also we look at art. When you go to a museum, you look at art and you know the origin of the stories of your people and your community. So I think better, more platforms of storytelling, I guess. Yeah, better platforms of storytelling. And I think more conversations about how art can can influence decision making, even in like the national conversation. I feel talking about how art can come through in terms of decision making or like law making or such things. Yes.
Yeah, I like how you put it.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest influence?
Biggest influence, man. I could talk about music and poetry.
Okay.
I think with poetry, there's this generation of poets in the 1960s from East Africa. Jared Angira was he's a good writer from East Africa. And then Taban Loliong, and who else? Let me see. I think as far as slam poetry goes, Mufasa is a big influence.
Where is he from?
He's a Kenyan poet.
Awesome.
Yeah, Mufasa he's one of my big influences. There's this poet from Ghana called King Yo as well. He's a slam poet. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Awesome.
In music, I would say, man, I love hip hop, man.
Yeah.
I love from Jay-Z, J. Cole.
Awesome.
Those are like my guys, man.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. Yes.
So those are the people who are trending on your playlist.
My playlist. Those are my guys.
I can imagine.
The big three.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard of the big three.
So those are the big three, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So for folks who are going to read your work,
yes,
who are going to read your blog,
yes,
the Gen Z MauMau, what is the one truth you would hope for them to walk away with?
I think first, know who you are, especially if you're young. Do a lot of work to find yourself. All right, don't get carried away in the noise. Don't get carried away in the heated and like space. Try and find yourself. Don't lose yourself, and then always stand for what's right. Always speak out against ills in society. Don't conform. Always question the status quo.
I like that. Yeah.
And I think, be authentic.
Yeah.
Just be authentic. Be yourself.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
I think you should drop a piece before you leave.
Man.
Yeah, we love to listen to you, bro. So,
let me see if I have a piece. Do I have any piece left? I think I had those 2 pieces prepared for today.
Fair enough.
And I'm in the creative space when I'm writing. Mostly, I don't have many poems for performing.
Yeah.
And I try not to recycle my old poems. So I try to move with the new, my new wave of poems.
Yeah.
So right now I don't have a lot of poems mastered. I only had those 2 poems because they were in the context of the conversation we had today.
Brilliant.
But if you want to listen to me, you can follow me on social media. I'll always, if I have an event coming up, I'll always have it posted on my socials at Instagram, KenyaRights_. That is KenyaRights_. At Facebook, the same, KenyaRights_. I'm not so active on Twitter. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much for coming through, Keith.
Yeah, thank you.
I really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Thank you for having me.
It's 28 minutes after 8. That was Culture Kitchen hanging out with the one, the only